Okay, so this is a demonstration on how to create a shape and an etching on that shape to prep your file for a laser cutter. So I want to create a wooden base shape like this one. So I'm going to use that using the Pathfinder tool. I'm going to initially use the rectangle tool and the circle tool, and then I'm going to divide those out with the Pathfinder tool. So now let's say I actually want specific dimensions. So I can just freehand draw, and you can see just to the right of your mouse, your dimensions are coming up, but it's pretty hard to get those exactly accurate. So what you can do instead is you can just click, and it allows you to enter your dimensions. So I want a 15 by, 150 millimeters by 200. Now, what I want to do is I want to cut this sort of half circle out here. So I'm going to go select my ellipse tool, hold down Shift so it maintains a circle rather than an oval. And I'm going to move it up, nudging it up using my arrow keys on my keyboard. Now, if I want to line it up perfectly, what I can do is you can see my smart guides are coming up here, which is Illustrator telling me how to get a perfect alignment. So that's my perfect alignment there. It's intersecting halfway across the rectangle and in the center of the circle. Okay, so I'm going to now use my Pathfinder tool to minus that circle out of the rectangle and just delete those once I've double clicked them. Double click to get out of the shape, and now I've got my base. Okay, so over here I've got an image that I want to use the pattern from, so I'm just going to zoom in on that. I need to select just this image, so if it's in a group you need to double click to get into that until it's just this one selected. And now I want to image trace. Okay, and I'm actually pretty happy with that tracing result, so I'm just going to go straight to clicking expand. Now remember, I still have white in there, so I'll just demonstrate that by putting a color in behind. So you can see I have white and black. I just want the white visible, so I need to have it selected. Select my magic wand tool and click delete, and that gets rid of all the white for me. I can delete that blue as well because I don't need that. I don't need this reference image anymore. Now what I want to do is I want to have this pattern, but I need it in this shape. So to prep the cut file for the laser cutter, all I need is RGB red selected, so I don't want a fill, so that's how you get rid of your fill, but I do want a stroke. Now to move between stroke and fill, you just need to click, and whichever is in the foreground will be the one that you're changing. So I want to affect the stroke, so I have that in the foreground. Go over here to my RGB palette, select red and 0.001. Okay, and that will tell the laser cutter to cut. Right, but I want it to etch my pattern as well. So I'm going to resize my pattern to fit over my shape. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my pattern. I'm going to copy it by pressing Control-C. Now I'm going to paste it by pressing Control-F. And Control-F pastes the shape that you've copied exactly in front of the shape that you've copied it from. Now what I want to do is I'm going to fill that shape I'm going to bring the pattern to the foreground. So arrange, bring to front. So I want my red selected and I want my pattern selected. Now what I want to do is I want to divide. Okay, so that won't obviously have made a difference, but what you'll find when you go into your file is it will have cut out where the red is. So I can now go around the edge of this shape. Oh, I've got to double click to get into it. And go around the edge of the shape and delete everything that's outside my shape. Okay, so now I have my pattern cut out to the shape. Now I don't want any of the red anymore, so I just select my magic wand tool and delete. Now you can see with the file, if I zoom in, I have the fine red outline telling the laser cutter to cut and the black telling it to etch. It looks like I've missed down the bottom here, so I can just go along the bottom. Oh. It's being tricky. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit more to get it. And now I have my file prepped and ready to go. Now, if I wanted to be really tricky with this file and do some slightly more interesting things on the laser cutter, the first thing I could do is I could choose to use a couple of different depths with my etching. And the way to do that is to have multiple RGB colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose some of these zigzags to cut at a different depth to the black. And the way I do that is I convert them to blue. Now I don't want a blue outline, I want no stroke, I want a blue fill. So I'm just going to do that again. And there you have a multiple depth etching with your cut out base.